Alright everyone, it's time for another day of APAC Madness as we're here for the Summer Showdown qualifiers for the East region. My name is Trid and I am joined by Avril for today as we close out the week of action.
Happy Tridsmas once again. I see you a lot more than once a year. In fact, we've actually casted plenty so far this year, interesting enough. So
yeah, I've casted more with you than I've casted with Vicky.
I was going to say, that's probably true. I haven't done the math, but I think that is true. That actually probably is true by this time. We got two blue teams up, though. You're colored up, you're matched. We're actually on the wrong sides, because you got the baby blue for the Valiant, and I got the slightly darker blue here with the Charge. So we're kind of, you know, we're almost repping. We're almost repping the teams. You're almost London Spitfire there as well. They had a great day today. So we'll see what teams in our East region also going to have great days. Standings update, though, Trid, as we move along for the season. For those that don't know, the end of the season playoffs is upcoming in a couple of stages' time. And to get there, you have to be in the top 6. So the top 3 qualify for the playoffs. And then 4, 5, and 6 go into the play-ins. And number 7 is eliminated. And currently, Guangzhou Charge is in number 7.
Yeah, not looking good for the Charge. They are it feels bad because we only have 7 teams in the East region, so we only say goodbye to 1. So that is a title that you take alone that no one really wants to claim. And if they want to try and dodge that, they've got to kind of leapfrog over the Hunters, leapfrog over the Valiant, and they're running out of time to do that. So this match for the Charge is even more important because they are taking on the person they want to usurp in the position above them, as you mentioned earlier, the LA Valiant.
They at what now? 14 out of a total 24 games. Would be 14th today. Take a look at the LA Valiant, who the Guangzhou Charge are going to be up against. And you know, Valiant, despite being in 6th place, they only have the 3 wins so far this season. They nearly got number 4 last night when they took on the Philadelphia Fusion. That game went to map 5. It went to the very end of Busan on the 3rd round, double 99s, everything, and it was the closest game you could have hoped for. And the Valiant barely lost out to the Philadelphia Fusion. They were very disappointed. You could see on the player cams yesterday when they lost out, it was a bit of a rough time for them because they came in swinging specifically that Junker Queen axe courtesy of Dia. He was phenomenal on that hero on his debut in the tank position.
Yeah, you would look at this roster lineup if you've not watched APAC this week and kind of be a little bit confused why you see Dia in the tank position and Sarshin playing support. It's some no-hill silliness that's worked really well for the Valiant, and I think if we look at that performance from the Fusion where you were singing their performance against the Fusion, you were singing their praises, that is probably going to raise some alarm bells with the Charge, because coming into this you thought maybe you might be able to sneak a win off the team directly above you if you look at it purely mathematically, but this is a brand new Valiant in the meta, which look honestly terrifying. So this is going to be such a tall order for Charge. Let's take a look at that roster, see who's probably going to be starting for them today. I
Same 5.
really am concerned about them. I'm going to say, like, you know, Choice 01's Genji's okay, but I think Becky has really shown themselves this stage so far.
Yeah, well, Choice 1, the thing about Charge, they did face up against the Shanghai Dragons, which look like either the number 1 or number 2 team so far in the Eastern region for this particular meta. So I remember saying on that broadcast, like, despite Charge losing to the Shanghai Dragons, it wasn't the worst loss in the world. You're probably not expecting them to beat the Dragons when they get to play Who Are You on the Genji in that meta. And the Charge are also dealing with, you know, integrating new members. While Jimmy Xerneas, aka Yavelta, and also Aprita, who's currently benched, have played on Ultra Prime Academy, which is the GZC Academy team in Contenders Korea, they still had to play through that before actually joining the Charge roster proper, so they haven't had, I guess, still enough time to make it all work between all the different members. So as we move through the weeks, maybe they will improve, but this is the kind of game where you'd hope for some rapid improvement, given that if Charge can punch up, bounce back fast after the loss to the Shanghai Dragons, and take a win versus the Valiant, that is the best hope for them to actually overtake the Valiant in the standings, to be in the top 6, to avoid elimination at the end of the year, because right now they are 2 wins behind, and if they beat the Valiant, they will prevent the Valiant from getting a win, and they will be up 1 extra win themselves to make it 2 and 3 instead.
I think when we were having a little chat before the show about, well, who realistically Charge is going to have the most likelihood of actually beating out in this stage, and we kind of mentioned maybe the Hunters, but they won't face them till the final week, so they might exclude themselves before they even get the chance to pick up that extra win.
Yeah, I mean, so this is important. Like Hunters, Valiant, I would even say Fusion. They're obviously the next 3 teams in the standings for them to try and overtake in the order of Valiant, Hunters, Fusion in that order. So it's pretty dire given that they've only won one time, but they only get to play both the Hunters and the Valiant 2 more times total. This is the first of those 4 games. We're starting out on Ilios today. Pretty standard map set here. No Paraíso for you to start out on, Trid, maybe in the next matchup. So let's move on in to round number 1. It's going to be Ruins. And
absolutely
standard.
no surprises.
Everyone playing the same thing. I don't think there's going to be any major variations here. What Valiant did yesterday with their lineup worked well. And for Charge, I think the bone structure, the general foundation is there. It's decent. Jimmy did well on UPA. Choice in 1 has been a great Genji. They just have to try and make it work.
The bone structure is there. We just need to see which of these teams is more jacked. Who's been hitting the weights in the gym? Who's been gaining that muscle mass?
The bone structure is there. It is my version of saying the talent is there. But I didn't want to copy Mitch. I didn't just want to like straight rip that from him. So I'm not going to say, I'm getting a little bit medical here. The bone structure is existing.
It's existing. That's it. Not doing much else with it. But Jimmy's actually
all it has to do is hold up your muscles. It's got to hold up your body weight. It is interesting. This is. I don't think it's unexpected that you could see Widowmaker here. It is Jimmy's special as well. He is a Widowmaker specialist in some ways. But he is definitely forcing this. Zerny gets the first blood on Becky. It's a great start, enabling that 5v4.
Yeah, that's not really how that matchup's supposed to go. Lucio into the Genji, but Krong's going to then answer back, tied up for a piece, but does give the first cap over to the Charge. And Krong's on the hunt with a Jagged Blade, hits him with the Carnage just to finish him off. That Scattergun could do a little bit of damage, but not much into the Brick Shield as it will hold strong and deflect the Valiant off that first fight.
I think Choi might have, well, no, not Choi, Becky might have taken a bit of damage beforehand, and then so he just flies on in for the final blow. And in case it's a first fight loss here for the LA Valiant, it's going to take a while for us to get into any ultimates here, Trid. So another neutral on hand. Jimmy pushed up fairly far forward.
Got good intel on Stray member around to the side. Going to reposition and just rotate round the point. Choi goes into the corridor. Nice dash. Lots of damage poured over them. Not going to convert it to any kills like yet. There's the shout coming in from Kron, sustains the team. They're going to move over to the Mega. Another good dash from Choi, just picking up more damage, climbing towards it. Far away, picks up the frags, and that's another 1 fight for the Charge. This time around, though, we're looking for ults to come online.
That's a lot of extra damage. They have the scouting there. Jimmy's positioned well to see members exiting from that side room. Then Choice of One's major dash. I think he got 4 or 5 members there. You just see him climb up in the ult charge. Now he has that blade available for that next fight. And Dio was doing quite well versus Fury yesterday in this sort of Junk Queen match. Today has gone down a couple times for so far. Does that blade now?
Moguli an answer coming in. Choice of One cuts through Easy Harm. Repositioned to the fight, gets him sustained, dashes back in, won't convert a second. That's another 1 fight, and they still have the support ultimates online for the next fight to mitigate whatever the Valiant are going to throw at them, more than likely Becky's Blade.
And it's unintentional, but it's actually a little bit more favorable to not get a multi-frag on the Blade there. Just the 1 is nice, gives you the 5v4, keep the rest of the members of the Valiant down on low HP, and then allow the rest of your teammates plus their neutral player to collect a bit more ult charge. So final fight territory now as we head into 19-9, and finally some ultimates are online for the Valiant as well.
So on the back of Becky's Blade,
the rally's gone.
Jumps up to the sky. There you go, Jimmy's found Lingzer as well, so they're not going to have any beat joining this fight. Becky booped away, cannot escape. Xerneas again has their number, and has a clean first cap for the Charge. I was not expecting that on round number 1.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy also walks away with no deaths. In fact, there was only 1 death that was in Choice One's Genji. It was the only frag coming through. Easy High managed to find that. So 1 final blow for the entirety of the LA Valiant on that opening round. It is pretty rough going for the Valiant in number 1. Thankfully for them on Ilios, we have further chances. They'll have to get the next 2 in a row now and have a lot better gameplay as well. Easy Hunt thinking about coming through on the Ashe. He did play a reasonable amount of Ashe in yesterday's matchup versus the Fusion. So Valiant kind of getting snowballed there. Here I think the opening neutral, they're going to need to find a lot more. The fact that they only got 1 final blow tells you a pretty big story in where the kills, all the kills are not coming from maybe.
Don't press tab. It's a bit of a tilter if you see that. They're going to reset, go on to map number 2, split around the point. Most of the Valiant are taking control of this room. Jagged Knife going to be thrown out. Won't find a connection but calls it back. Oh, Xerneas is about to be killed here. They're able to sustain. It's Far Away who drops down first despite that Easy Harm paying them a lot of attention. As Dia's trying to hold the line. They're being assaulted from every angle right now, but they've not got control of the point. Xerneas is waiting for someone to come out. Might go for a boot. He's going to reposition over the top. Krong isolated against Dia in the 1v1. Dia's going to pick up that kill with the Jagged Knife. EasyHan again finding Xerneas. That's both supports in this fight for them. And what a 180 for the Valiant in this second round.
Yeah, with EasyHan and Dia picking up 5 frags there between the two of them, and you see the opening frag coming through onto, who was it? I think it was Farway. Xerneas falling quite low, and that's the kind of thing, right? You have a member that already got caught by Dia's knife, takes a bunch of damage, Charge are playing passive because they're waiting for the heals to come on through. Valiant pull trigger at least slightly early, they get that 1 frag, and now it's been responded to the following fight. Genji down.
Battle on the high tower as well. Early missing out on the Genji. Xerneas wants to accelerate the team into it. Krong with the Carnage. Takes him out. Choicy one going to be dropped by Dia's Axe. Charge will get the flip. 26% only accrued for the Valiants. This is still neck and neck.
Oh
my god,
wait
Jimmy,
a minute.
what?
Dia pulled Jimmy into the well. That was insane.
Oh,
I haven't seen that
goodness.
yet.
Dia getting away with absolute madness. Another pullback into the Axe. This is what happens when you put a damage dealer on a tank. The accuracy and the aggression coming out. And Dia just still paying dividends on the Junker Queen in this meta.
Yeah, I mean, he's landing some incredible shots just on the left clicks as well as the right clicks with the knife pulls there. We saw a lot of that yesterday versus Fusion. Something I noted Dia has a lot of success on. His accuracy on the Jagged Blade is higher than most players that I've seen. We don't have clear stats on his direct accuracy, but I would have to guess it's like right up there. You can see that Dia is very much outpacing Krong in a meta where it's hard to get rampages, especially on control maps. You often don't see a rampage available until more than 80% or 90% in the actual round itself, and we're about to hit that time now.
Oh my goodness, Jimmy just absolutely clears Becky's head off the shoulders. The disruptor shot to find EasyHan as well. And the charge, they're going to get a flip before they even run into any ultimates to defend them, but there's a whole arsenal of options coming up for the Valiant for this retake.
They have the time to play through. Valiant with a 67% lead. They would have wanted more than that, but they'll take the reset here. They haven't died too much in this particular round so far, so even when they are losing fights, not getting super largely wiped, which is important for their resetting. Choice one in the back line with the blade.
Yeah, locked in a tiny Overwatch room. Chasing down for the kills. Guns low. Having to use the deflect to get themselves back to the Mega. Becky using their own blade. They're still out of the fight as well. That's beaten. Rally being used. Length still has theirs. Rampage through 4 to shut down all the healing. Krong's going to try and answer back, but it might be too little too late as Jimmy and Farway have already dropped back to the spawn room. Valiant have a solid retake. They didn't lose any on the entry. Apart from EasyHan just jumping off at the end there. Quick reset, I imagine. Probably not intentional.
No, I think he got booped. No, I think he got booped there. That already made a mistake. He either made a mistake, he got booped, or it was like he coach gunned and he just didn't realize the distance. That actually will affect some things. EasyHan's respawn distance here means that there is a bit of a time for charges to walk up. What it really means is Valiant can't get aggressive. They have the Bob, which is going to be insane in the last fight, so as long as the Bob is well placed and can't get easily booped into the well, that's fine. Something Krong might want to do, though, is if the Bob is not placed well, you can just knife the Bob and try and pull him into the well, so we'll watch to see if anything like that happens.
Oh, EasyHan's taken out the Bob. Does the Bob even make it to the field?
Yeah,
I think he may have cancelled that with the shot early on. But there we go,
Bob
Jimmy's going to take the fire. Oh, Bob's on the field. We've probably going to see him taken away. Jimmy's now locked in the corner. Will slide out, 20 HP, but will get sliced out of the sky by Satin's flail. And that's going to be the flip coming in for the charge. One fight there. Yeah, that's unfortunate for EasyHan to go down so early on in the map, but they're going to switch over to Sojourn for the final fight.
And I think that's probably ideal as well because you want to have that burst capability. And I also think Ash on this particular map just gets flanked and gets assaulted on a little bit too easy. So we saw that one Bob coming on through. Doesn't win them a fight. Still, funny enough, enables a 5v5 despite him dying. But you want the 6v5, not the 5v5 in that situation. So final fight actually coming in now. No teams have ultimate. Maybe the Genjis get there. This is going to be a neutral though.
Good disruptor shot. Going to be traded over. It's a Venn diagram of damage. EasyHan playing it from the back. Fires a railgun shot. Won't find the connection. Charge still have control of the point. It's Valiant who need to stay on if they want any hope of getting the flip. There you go. Beat going to be used by Xerneas. Going to find the entirety of the charge. They have rally if they want to as well. Shots here from Krong on the front line. Taking a lot of damage. Needs to retreat back. Otherwise he's going to drop back to the spawn room. Blade from Becky. Krong takes him out. Choice one pulls out Blade of their own. This is the charge going to secure Ilios if they can just find it true. But Dia again with the Jagged Blade as Valiant go for the flip. Rack up the kills. And surely they're going to be able to get the turn here at 99%. They just need to clear off those final members, but it looks like Valiant are going to tie up Ilios.
Yeah, such a turnaround play from the Valiant there. They were down quite early in that fight because their ultimates were slightly further off. You have both double support ultimates from the Guangzhou Charge being available before the Link's Assassin can find theirs. And the Guangzhou Charge, off the back of that one, they were able to get Becky down. Becky pulls Blade, it's blocked by the support ultimates, Krong shoots him down, it's a 5 versus 4, but because the Charge can't get more done with their double support ultimates, once Dia has a Rampage available, again, he's been ahead of Krong for that entirety of the round, so Krong can't respond. Dia can pull through on the Rampage, both support ultimates are gone now, and the Charge, they just eat that ante. They eat the bleed damage. Choice 1 eats the bleed damage as the Genji trying to Blade. He suddenly comes under pressure. He doesn't have the confidence to move forward on the Blade anymore because he's too low HP, and the Charge have no ability to get counter-traced. Dia ends up pulling through the Rampage and giving that victory to the Valiant.
Final round of Ilios. Coming down to the wire on round number 2. Farway's going to press forward with the team. There's Krong walking into the mini room. Swing through for the time being. Dia.
It's Charge
a little bit more
that have control of the mini room first, which is really important because they get to play with that health back. LA Valiant on the extremities have to consider how to get the attack going on top of the Charge.
Choilo.
A lot of damage, but get the frag.
Jimmy's going to be the one. Yeah, Jimmy takes out Easy Harm with the railgun. Dia in the mix. Gonna go ahead and get the punch kill onto Farway. Krong did turn it back onto Becky. Dia again. The Valiant seem to have control of the room. Nice carnage cuts through. Zerning just gets finished off as well, and that is going to be the Charge taking the first cap. If they can just... No, Valiant, sorry, just going to be clearing the first cap. Don't know where I got that from.
Well, they caught the Charge in rotation, so Charge had the initial small health pack room, right? Because the point's about to unlock, they want to move and rotate from the health pack room into the actual point itself, and as it happens, that's when Valiant can strike. So if you are the Charge, you kind of have to win the initial fight from that health pack room or find an advantage there, because otherwise Valiant's initial response is going to go to the point first, and you'll have to be second to the point. Charge tried to go ahead, and they got punished.
Trying to find a different angle to approach the Valiant now. They're still fighting over the mini room once more. Farway is already out of the fight. They're going to sustain up. Krong under pressure. They will try and sustain, but it's Jimmy going down. Easy Harm finds the shots. Becky now clears up Farway, dashes through once more. And they're just going to pick away with chip damage to finish off the rest of the Charge. You just cannot find a look into the point.
It's been a rough couple of fights here in Valiant. After the 0 to 100 in Ruins have picked up the pace quite significantly. They've won what I think is now, two back-to-back neutrals between, well, the two back-to-back first fights, I should say, on both now, Lighthouse and Welt. And the first few ultimates now coming on through as well. But hit the 60% mark on the cap. Xerneas for the Charge side, and 3 ultimates for the Valiant. Number 4, number 5 coming on, and Dia has a very fast Rampage, by the way.
Like he got it like 48%.
You normally don't get that by 80%.
48% is what he got it at 100, ready to go. There you go, there's that rally. Sasha moves forward with the team. Blade from Becky as they go back to the point to try and catch the rotating Charge. Moved away, it only delays the attack.
Oh, I think it's Ajax.
Will go ahead and snipe Krong. Is that... Be able to get a headshot with that? I don't have no idea what happened there. But Becky is going to go finish off the rest of them. And Charge did touch the point, but now they're in final fight territory.
Oh my goodness, I think Xerneas might have lost his beat there. We'll have to check when the live stream catches up or something like that, but that is pretty disastrous. 2 ultimates available for the Charge, but to get there in time, somebody has to touch it. Probably has to be the Lucio member. There are still ultimates alive. Choi loses his life.
Rampage gets to the point. Dia gets back in there. No one's able to touch. They just do not allow the Charge entry at the door. And the Valiant, after a shaky start, will pick up map number 1.
Yeah, great stuff by the LA Valiant. Like you said, that first round, not particularly great, 0 to 100. There was only a single final blow between all LA Valiant members for that entire round. It came through from Easy Han Sojin. But beyond that, once we got into Dia's, Jungle Queen, which looked so monstrous yesterday, started to come really alive. I mean, he was getting some wicked stuff done on that Jungle Queen, and the pacing did not stop. On Lighthouse specifically, he got his Rampage so damn early. Well in excess of like 60 to 70% of the point capture, which is, for this meta, very quick.
Yeah, and then he did it in 48 on Lighthouse, which is even faster.
Was it on 48?
It was 48% is when he hit 100, because I noticed him getting close, and I checked it. I was like,
Okay.
wait, when is he going to actually
I also
cash it
checked
in?
something.
So,
I have now confirmed that Xerneas did indeed Ajax that beat, so yeah.
no.
Sadly.
No. Sad times, but hopefully they can pick it back up again. The Charge are going to be hitting back in map number 2 after this break. Welcome back to the Summer Showdown Qualifiers Eastern Edition. We're about to jump into map number 2. It is the Valiant going up against the Charge, and we just watched a complete swing from one way to the other across the course of Ilios. Rough start for Valiant, but they end up dominating in the end. Now moving over to a hybrid map, Midtown, for Charge to try and clap back and equalize the series.
You know, I think they have the capability because you look at Ruins, they started out well, they got the initial pickoffs. Becky died first and foremost, and Dia didn't look quite as disgustingly good as he did in the other 2 rounds for that first round. So it could be a little bit of, you know, both column A and column B in the argument of Charge had a great map on that first round, and the Valiant just had a really slow start. They needed the warm-up perhaps. But as we move further into this game, we actually got a glimpse of the Valiant yesterday on this Midtown map as well. And while they lost the Philadelphia Fusion, I still think it was a very close map. Every map was pretty close outside of, I think, the first of Oasis. So it's still a potentially very difficult place for the Charge to be in, but I don't think they can afford to be 0-2 down versus the Valiant either, unless they end up in a reverse sweep scenario. And as an underdog team, I just don't really see that happening. So the Guangzhou Charge need to establish their presence in this game and establish their ability to win, I think, right now. And they got to do it where Fusion had also done, which is on Midtown.
Well, if the Charge managed to survive it out until map number 5, Avril, they're already doing better than they did in the last matchup in Week 8, where Valiant took the scoreline 3-1. It's only a 4-map series. They make it to map number 5. They've improved, but ultimately, I think that's not going to be enough to get them to the Countdown Cup and obviously playoffs at the end. So, yes, like you said, don't want to go 2-0 down. Midtown's where you equalize the series, go for a reset, and hopefully try and build from there and eke it out at the finish.
Yeah, I think the Summer Showdown tournament is maybe not the focus for the Charge at the moment, given that this is a new roster as well. The real focus for the Charge is to make playoffs, is to have a pathway to enter playoffs, so that means they have to not be the last place team in the Eastern Division, which means they need to beat teams like the Valiant, because Valiant, well, unfortunately Valiant are looking pretty damn good in this meta, so Charge is maybe possibly beating a team like Chengdu later on, but like I said, that's at the end of this qualifier, and also still many games to be played between now and then, and who really knows. But for now, we'll see how the defense of the Charge will look versus Valiant walking up Dia, and the rest of the squad looking well and truly warmed up. Those knives are deadly. The first one will miss, and see if Charge can survive those.
Choi's being forced to play outside that building now, but they keep throwing the shurikens into the Valiant as they take space on the other side of the rail bridge. Now they're rotating close to the point, but Jimmy's found Lengza in the rotation. 5v4 in favor of the Charge. Now's the time to capitalize on it and force all of them back to the spawn room. Need to be careful though, as EasyHunt finds 2 with the disruptor shot as they try to get in the door, being blocked by that ability, and it's all gone wrong for the Charge. They had a mad advantage going into that, and the Valiant on the back of Becky's Genji and EasyHunt's Sojourn are able to get that kill and lock up the fight.
Yeah, I mean, just recovering from the 4v5 scenario, you got to give credit to Jimmy for opening up the 5 versus 4, and Jimmy's been pretty reasonable in that regard. But the rest of the Valiant, they're able to capitalize so cleanly. Now, Choice of 1 and the rest of the Charge trying to come in for a final contest. Choice of 1 lucky to live.
Yeah, good sustain to get him back into the fight as well. It's always vulnerable to start off the fight by dropping to like 10% HP. They're able to contest at 93%. Valiant have given up the point for now. They're happy with the progress they've made, and they're going to look for a re-entry. Hopefully they can find a pick. As Kron goes down low, they might be the target. Aggressive play by Sashin, leading the Charge far away, going to be taken out there by Becky. So there's another man advantage in the fight. She get back onto the point to force the Charge to aggress back onto them. They're stepping off right now. They might catch them, the fight's not over, and they just get away with it. Charge trying to tax Valiant on the way out. It's just not going to happen. And now they'll start their move into the escort section of this map.
You can just see how very close the Charge were to certain ultimates. I mean, you got 2 members on 97 there as well. Jimmy, I think, only barely got his overclock in time, but they were already down 5 versus 4, and a respectable decision by the Valiant not to just aggress into the Charge on their retake. They actually gave space away, allowed the Charge to come back on the point, then they just played a pure, true neutral there. And the Valiant out-damages them in the neutral, gets to 5v4, walks on forward. Now the ultimate's being played in. Jimmy first in the overclock.
Yeah, trying to land those shots. Able to get damage, but no kills confirmed just yet. Lengza a little bit too mobile for Jimmy until the very end. And they're going to take out the backline of the Valiant, forcing a full retreat. Disruptor shot to delay the exit as Choice A1 goes hunting for the remaining members. Outside the spawn room, Dia can't get back there. Good dash there to get some extra damage. And Choice A1 and the rest of the Charge have got some ultimates to play with on the next assault.
And because they have so many players here, they can actually make the spawn hold potentially happen. For ultimates, they're going to force Valiant to ult here no matter what. So if they take an early fight, Valiant going to have to spend resources just to get out of spawn. This is really good choice and really good decision-making by the Charge to make this play happen.
Hunting damage into Dia. Probably looking for the lineup for the Rampage with EasyHunt. Pop in the overclock, ready to go and find Jimmy far away. Looking for the third. Finds Xerneas as well. That has been broken. They only have to burn 1 ult to make it work. Not the outcome that the Charge were looking for.
No, and they got a frag straight away. So now you're charged. You're looking at a situation like we are actually 4v5 here. How big of a response do we want to put in? They put in the rally, and they're thinking, can we just kind of eke this one out with a single ultimate? A second player goes down. Now it's 3 versus 5. They're thinking, okay, if we throw more ults in this fight, it is just going to be a lost situation. Because they held so far forward anyway, they get the respawn back in. Valiant can't get that much progress, and they can fight again now with 3 ultimates versus 3.
Just going to head over. Holding the line of where they think the Valiant are going to emerge from. Good call there. They don't want to line up. They risk running into the Rampage. Choice they want goes to the back line with the blade. Gets booped back. Nice response there with the support ultimates, but the anti is going to land on 3 members for each team. Rampage delaying the sustain, but not being converted for any kills on either side. And we just saw 3 ults get burned by both
6
teams
ults.
and no one drop.
Well, sometimes that is the meta. Sometimes that is just how Jotes works. Sometimes in Goats, that's how it worked as well. So we're back into another true neutral situation. 6 ults later, not a single person died. That's what a sound barrier is going to do. Low members on Jimmy and Choice One, but they are healed back up. There it is. Choice One finds Becky.
There's that advantage they need to push forward. Valiant recognize this, they're giving a lot of respect and they're just disengaging. They don't want to give up any more. Time bank is running down, 1 minute 45 for the time being. If they can set up again, they might not get spawn health, but they're going to give them a little bit of distance for the charge to play with. They still need to break through this forward hold to get to the payload.
It's just super, respectable by the Valiant to not try and overstay their welcome to 4v5, and Charge don't overchase either. So not trying to go in and just lose members, get punished for trying to punish, but here comes a rally now. It's the only ultimates available, and it's gone.
Shut down immediately by Krong. Just hits him with the Carnage. That axe at point blank range is going to cut through Zarshin. Another 4v5. It's not looking good as Jimmy turns it into a 3v5. Shots onto Becky, and they're on the hunt for more. Oh, what a predictive shot by Krong!
Yeah.
I think he heard us giving praise to Dia and was like, no, I can do this. I can do this as well. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, he'll land the 3 very difficult, 2 to 3 very difficult Jagged Blade hits, but sadly we'll miss the Carnage on the Dia, but sometimes that does happen. Good showing for Krong nonetheless. Zernia's going down though, is going to be Valiant with an advantage. They finally get that first player that they need. Looking like they'll convert very cleanly here. 3 members down. Finally we have Valiant make some due process, and this payload has not had a lot of movement for the past couple of fights, so there still will be one more engagement coming through from the Guangzhou charge as the payload now comes up towards the final bend, and this is the one that counts. 30 seconds remaining. No more opportunities to reset. This is the final fight.
Yeah, there's the rally. They're going to merge in. Definitely using that ult advantage they accrued for themselves in this final fight. Just having that one. Jimmy also got theirs to pop as well. Another disengage from the Valiant. They're just being so respectful of this ult disadvantage they have, ready to re-emerge.
Well, it's 10 seconds, so can't be too respectful.
I know, that's what I mean. They have playing so much respect, but you're right, Apple. They don't have a lot of time to get back onto the point. Dia's going to lead the charge in there. Becky's got a blade. A couple of good shots from Dia will mean that they'll be able to get the Rampage on this fight. Becky's just kept in the skybox right now, unable to find a connection. Xerneas has beat to sustain the rest of them. Krong's gone down. It's 4v5 as Choice One pulls that blade of their own. Finding one. Jimmy with the headshot off the railgun to take him out again. Xerneas cleaning up the charge. Will deny the Valiant the second capture on Midtown. And they will shut them down and not set a very long distance for them to meet on their own offense as we change sides.
That's not bad. I mean, that's better than what Fusion did to the Valiant on their respective defenses. So this is already going to be, a shorter map on Midtown than what Valiant and Fusion had in just the previous outing yesterday. That's a good sign for the Guangzhou Charge. They won several fights on this B defense. A did not go well for them, granted, but B suddenly looked a lot better. That included the spawn hold as well. Yes, they did lose the spawn hold, but that burnt more time. And okay, they didn't really get much more out of that, but sometimes it's all you need. You just need to bleed that timer down, get the clock low, and put yourself in a scenario where the payload is only coming up the hill towards the final corner with the last 30 seconds, and given that Farway then goes for a rally, you could technically say it's a wasted rally, but it does mean that Valiant only get to engage with minimal time left. Valiant seemingly happy to take that trade. They'll take the OT play, get rid of the rally from Farway, and then play the double DPS ultimates on both sides, but Becky goes hunting, but he doesn't find anything. He gets completely lost in the source while he's swinging the blade. Easy Hunt, I think, maybe got 1 kill, but it's Choi and Jimmy that really got it done. Choi's blade, far more successful. Jimmy's overclock, far more successful.
I'm in charge.
Now they're going to set up on the defense, ready to go. Valiant Just holding on for the time being. It's going to be charge on the assault. One thing to point out as well, Xerneas got that beat mid-fight. Imagine if the connection came in there from Becky and Xerneas was able to be taken out by Becky with the blade and they just shut down the beat. They probably could have ended up winning that fight.
But there's yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of differences there. If
Yeah.
specific players can get kills and just even numbers. I mean, forget about ultimates, but each number advantages, right? Becky getting anything more on this blade would have made definitely the difference, but bygones be bygones here. Valiant playing with the cards they've been dealt, so A went well for them on the offense. Can it go well for them on the defense here as well? As a reminder, they were the ones, Valiant, who got first blooded, but they responded and actually won a 45.
Playing it very patiently for the time being, looking for the pick damage. Choi's in the lead when it comes to ult charge with those shurikens against Becky, for the time being. Going to emerge out of their hidey hole far away, taking a lot of damage for the time being. Xerneas doesn't get the recovery themselves. EasyHarm finds that, and the Charger immediately backing out of this fight, as much as they can anyway. Farway still locked in this tiny room, and they're just easy pickings for Dia. Try and get the snipe on the escape. Might be able to get their way. Jimmy finds their way back to the spawn room, and it's a good first fight for the Valiant.
Yeah, really important for Charge, despite losing their fight, not to lose too many members. They're not feeding extra ultimates over towards the Valiant, as most players are keeping pace with their counterparts. It's only really EasyHarm maybe climbing ahead here. He got the initial damage done. They got the kill into Xerneas. So fight number 2 coming on in now. Choi just sniped down. EasyHarm again will get it done.
And that just kills so much time for the Charge. They're just not going to aggress in the 4v5 scenario. So it's just a time bank burner at this point. You don't really give up much ult charge other than over to EasyHarm.
Yeah, well, that's the silver lining, is that if you're going to lose a fight, you're not going to give ult charge over. That's unnecessary, but there will be a Bob upcoming, and the Bob only needs to sit on the cap, and that will be enough. Jimmy, if wanting with that rail shot.
Will slide away to safety as the rest of the team come forward to protect them. Krong unable to escape that one. Beautiful headshot there from EasyHarm to clean up. He keeps getting away with that damage. The carnage cuts through to find Sarshin. This far away who picks up the frag. Dia still holding strong. Use the shout as well. Doesn't hit the jagged blade. 30 HP, needs to escape but can't get away from Jimmy's disruptor shot. And the Charge are able to get some bodies, but it's not a conclusive win for either team right now. Charge are going to get back to the point a little bit faster, so it does give them the advantage coming into this one.
Well, as their namesake suggests, they're trying to charge them to the point here. While Dia is gone, they will manage to get there in time, but Valiant have the ticks to give away. They're happy to give away 1 or even 2 ticks here, then re-aggress with 4, nearly 5 ultimates. Again, the Bob can be really important here. This is going to be bloody.
Oh,
wait a minute, Choi!
Choi finds 2! Becky and Sarshin! They did not get a chance to play Overwatch today. They'll hold the line with the deflect. Choice A1 picking up Dia. And there's going to be point A captured. Escort section unlocked for the Charge. And they're starting to match the time bank of the LA Valiant.
Yeah, it's such an interesting decision. Valiant go through the corridor instead of going through main. And main has a lot more sort of open space for the playthrough, so they're not all grouped up for this Choice A1 dash through, which ends up killing 2. Sashin loses the rally almost straight away, and they never get to use the Bob either. This is the sort of situation where you don't have to be considerate of the Rampage just yet. The Rampage is just available now. Becky's trying to save the situation.
Again, negated. Xerneas is beat, just able to shut it all down. The boop as well meant Becky had no chance of getting in there. Not going to be able to use either Rampage as Charge are able to clean the fight up before they come online. They get under the bridge and they're getting very close to matching the progress that Valiant made on their previous round.
I mean, Valiant can still force a big reset here, given that ultimates have started to die down very quickly for the Charge. Also, Jimmy, by the way, it was one the Widowmaker for that last fight. Just trying to pull a fast one over the Valiant. If you can just find the angle, find the frag. This Charge, like you sort of mentioned, very close to capping now, but because there was a decent amount of time lost on A, this is still winnable by the Valiant. Dia needs to survive again.
3-man Rampage. Dia has not answered back yet. They're too low to jump onto it. The Valiant have just been in absolute shambles. And Bob may delay the payload a little bit with the rest of his team. They can stall long enough for Becky to maybe find a few taxing kills. They might be able to go for a recontest, but there's nothing holding the payload back now. Charge are going to walk it in. They take Lengser out. There's no one mobile enough to get touch. And they're able to get in just there. Dia right at the end. EasyHarm finding 1 shot onto Xerneas. He will go for the spray down to attempt to take out Choice A1. Grapple over the top. No one's there to touch, and the Charge will level out the series 1 apiece.
And it was looking good for the LA Valiant on that initial A defense, Ray, but what really happened there that changed the tide of everything was the retake coming on through, the failed rally, Choice of One dashing through the small corridor on the left-hand side, collecting 2, and LA Valiant, from that point onwards, got continually snowballed. They needed to put in a concerted effort into winning the follow-up fight after losing A, but because they also lost that fight as well, allowing Charge to push through the underpass, leaving it to a final situation on that B point defense at the actual checkpoint itself, and then losing members early, and Valiant just couldn't keep Dia alive. Easy Khan couldn't live. The Bob came through, but unfortunately had minimal value outside of delaying the payload for a little bit. And then when Dia finally respawns, goes for the Rampage, it's basically a 1v5, and it's not very winnable.
Charge coming up strong. They've matched the amount of maps they were able to get in their previous matchup against the LA Valiant, so it's all up from here for them. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we're going to move over to Dorado. Welcome back to week 1 of the Summer Showdown qualifiers. Just seen Charge tie out the series 1 apiece and go for the reset. They're now matching the amount of maps accrued in the previous matchup against the LA Valiant. So as I mentioned at the end of the last map, they are on a progress. All is up from here. And it's a little bit sloppy from the Valiant and well capitalized from Charge at the end there. I think you called out specifically the retake on point A being a real problem for Valiant from the beginning of the end, if you would do, for their defensive run.
Yeah, and you know, the opposite is also true, where the retake for Guangzhou Charge on A was good. At least they got through the doors. No, they didn't end up winning and defending the point, but that's besides the point. I think, you know, the fact that they even got onto the point is an improvement over what Valiant were able to do on their own retake. So a bit of an unfortunate situation that Valiant never truly recovered from. So they got effectively snowballed really hard, and they just couldn't find that one fight to swing the tide again, put their foot down, and just, you know, have a situation. Oh, hello, are we touching hands? I'm kidding.
No, that would work on the other side. It would work on the other side. No.
Boom, high five.
Wait, we can't time that. No way. You're all the way in Australia. There's no way we could do that with the ping.
No.
It's unfortunate.
So yes.
No, I'll be candid.
Map
I'll
3.
pull back the curtain. That was just a blind just moving down, collapsing right next to me.
Yeah, a lot of collapsing I'm seeing on the stream today. So map number 3, we'll see if we can start putting some of that back up and, you know, sticking it, some super glue it back on. Still a lot of opportunities here for both teams in this series where, you know, I expect that even if Valiant do win, it won't be a clean victory. They're not known for clean victories or clean losses for that. For, you know, they actually often have multiple map series. That's kind of their MO, win or lose. Charge, this is, I believe, their first map win so far with the new roster, given that they did go 0-3 versus Dragon. So getting one on board, I think, is important to the morale. So now the Charge members, they know what they're doing, build that confidence back in, start to feel like, okay, this is a situation that can feel good for us. Keep that momentum moving forward through Dorado. Again, not expecting any major changes here. Everyone's just playing pretty much the same on things. Try our very hardest not to get baited by any sort of Winstons or Bastions or anything like that.
No, this is the Hunters.
Jimmy might think about a Widowmaker, given that he has been pretty keen on that before, and Dorado's a pretty reasonable Widowmaker map, as we've seen in the past. So I'd watch out for that, but beyond that, I think it should just be pretty standard across the board.
Let's hope so. I mean, we can expect maybe some silliness next series when the Hunters are playing. They did try and play a Winston-based comp for a little bit of their series a couple of days ago. But now, you see the setup is here for the Valiant. Just waiting to see what emerges, and they're going to do the switch back. Jimmy just using the Symmetra to go ahead and teleport them out.
Yeah. He'll Sim TP them onto the high ground to start with, and then maybe look for a Widowmaker just at a peak. The rest of the squad now moving forward, but there's going to be a counter rotation. Jimmy's actually going to go for the Ash. And Valiant are going to go for a spawn camp, but they're already low HP. Sashin could die here.
Yep, Sashin's already gone down, so this is coming up big for the Charge so far. Choi going for the 1v1 on the hunt down for Becky, who gets away by the skin of their teeth. And the Valiant are in full retreat right now, but Krong picks up an exit frag. Lengza also going to get dropped down as well. And there you go, Easy Han cleared as the Charge dominate that first fight.
Yeah, this means they get to skip the entire first roof phase. They get to go straight into the fountain, so very nicely done. I don't mind that Valiant decide to rotate against the Charge's teleporter play, because Valiant can just go towards the spawn right, play towards the actual payload itself, but then they got collapsed upon, a lot of damage taken in. Even the shout from Dia does not save Sashin, just took way too much, and Brig's usually your first target in this battle, so the Brig going down first, not on the question.
Deer in the face of Choice here, one big mistake. You know what they're like with those jagged blades. Carnage cuts through as well to tack on to Krong as they force them away from the payload. And Valiant are able to retake and start building up some semblance of a defense.
And that's the kind of comeback you sort of need as well. Krong could be in trouble. He tried to drop off the high ground. And he just gets pulled back up by Dia.
Oh my goodness, you
just rolled
that. You're the Charge. Like, Charge, why are you there?
Well, they're trying to back on out.
You.
I mean, they both. One team's trying to sprint out, the other team's trying to sprint forward.
Hang on a minute. Someone needs to stop Xerneas.
That's actually not bad. Xerneas nearly stole the payload. That was nearly a back cap from 0.9. I respect that, but it is going to be a bit of a respawn phase as well. What it does mean is that now that if you are Valiant, you can't play too far forward. You can see the Sashin's just playing on payload the entire time because they can't afford a risk of having stolen away from them.
that's pretty effective by the Charge, but once again, you see Charge trying to back on out. As Krong drops down from the higher ground, Dia knifes and pulls him back up to kill him. That was insane.
Yeah, incredible play by Dia once more. Becky's getting close to that blade, as is Choi. It's the rally coming out on cooldown by Faraway. Jimmy's already found Lengsa. There's the second kill. Becky, Dia, Sashin, all being removed. Easy hands, the lone survivor. But point A will go the way of Charge.
Yeah, nicely done, man. And just the rally being invested as well. The rally that wasn't quite there for Valiant, nor sound barriers. To be fair, despite dying a reasonable amount, Sashin's still keeping up ahead of Lengsa, ahead of Xerneas. Now as we head over to the speed defense, Xerneas and I believe Krong's also made to the high ground. They're just trying to control the space from now. It's often very difficult for the Jungle Queen team to claim the space, so to get it early before Valiant can arrive is good, but Valiant will certainly straight away force them off.
Jimmy's going to concede the ground as well. It's only Choi and Xerneas who can stay up there. It's Krong, you can see, onto the payload
Look,
right
Xerneas,
now.
go for the
Xerneas
boot.
going up and above.
Oh,
Nearly. You saw the attempt. It was very,
I mean, that would have
very
been huge.
ambitious.
That would have ruined Valiant's positioning by a lot.
Oh, 100%. Not all of them can reclaim that space as well. Like you were saying, Jungle Queen can't get up. Jimmy? Hello? Beautiful headshot there onto Becky. The Charge are going to be able to capitalize this into more map progress, and they've not even had to pop a single ultimate yet.
Knife hit by Dia there, but Choi not going to get pulled up. It's the rim. Valiant need to go. They are kind of playing too passive here, where Payload's nearly at the end now. They have 5 ultimates available. Krong nearly has his rampage as well. Here goes Dia.
Finds free on the back line. Beat comes out to answer from Xerneas. There's beat from Lengsa as well. Krong's not quite got it online. Choi Se-1 using the blade, having to cut through the shielding, but it's Becky who finds Jimmy. Becky just at the end of the duration, unable to convert the second, and the Charge are pulling out of this fight once more. It will have to run into Krong's rampage when they attempt to go for this again.
Yeah, 7 ultimates. You use 3 left to go now. Krong comes
Oh
on
no,
through.
they're
The
just going
rally
right
should
now.
want damage.
Rampage only finds Sashin, who dies
Rally's
right at
gone.
the beginning of their rally once again. Dia got the ante, but stayed up. They've traded Krong for Sashin right now. Krong obviously making himself very vulnerable while charging forward. Xerneas then gets converted by Dia. Nice headshot once more. The Valiant are holding strong on this payload after quite a passive map so far.
Now that's all 10 ultimates expended in that ultimate trade, as we have kind of like 1.5 fights, nearly 2 fights here, because it's 1 fight, then a bit of a reset. I believe it was 7 ultimates expended with no deaths there as well, so the last 3 ended up being what breaks the camel's back. But a very important reset that LA Valiant are able to win, forcing Charge away. Charge will claim the opposite high ground, given how far up the payload is, and Choi just eats all the damage.
Yeah, and that's another... That's just going to pull out. They don't need to be here anymore. They can just go back. The only cost to them is time and just a fraction of ult charge gifted over to the Valiant. Becky is close to that blade. They're charging ahead in ult percentage in comparison to Choi Se-1, but it's Faraway who's about to get the rally online. Will they go for a tempo move like they did on point A and just use it on cooldown, just run straight in and use that advantage to capitalize?
Absolutely. I mean, if you're ult tracking properly here, you know that basically all ults are gone, so whatever comes up first is going to be the only ultimate up, and at best, maybe Valiant can have 1 ultimate available themselves, and that's going to be the blade, so Becky could be the turnaround here. 1 minute left, Xerneas down.
Xerneas is down. Easy hand with the snipe once more. Becky can get to cut through Krong as well. Any tempo you were going to use in this fight is just now gone. This ult advantage is starting to crumble away for the Charge. Becky has the blade online. Sashin still miles behind Faraway, though, so the rally advantage will still be present in the next fight.
It's just great damage from Becky, and Charge back out with 3, and I think they're lucky to back out with 3 because the Valiant were a little bit closer up with double speed boost. They'd catch up and get a clean up as well. If you lose Krong in that fight, it's very difficult to force the Valiant back and not have them chase you. But given the distance, Valiant end up backing through. So final fight coming in now, 30 seconds. Not really going to see another reset. The respawn distance is far too long for Charge, so they got to win it now. 2 ultimates up.
So go for it. Choi's got the blade. Needs to find the route of ingress. There's the rally from Faraway. Becky pulls the blade first. Choi Se-1's going to answer back. Finds 1. They're trading 1 apiece so far. Damage for support. Faraway losing the rally a little bit earlier into its duration, but still finding value. Krong takes out Dia at the end. Blown eardrums from Becky, and the Charge are going to be able to get on to the point. They just need to clear out Sashin, and they can get an extension of time bank in OT and move into the final section of this map.
I mean, it's so big that even if Farway dies with the rally there, he pulls Becky all the way back, so if Becky's going to get that kill, he can't then reset the blade onto a secondary target. He removes himself from the fight, then Easy Han's dead as well, so you effectively have no DPS while Becky's waiting to get healed. Dia receives all the damage, all the attention. If he doesn't survive, doesn't get to use that Rampage, then Valiant have no opportunity to turn that fight around, so Charge played that one well. They got rid of both DPSs effectively. They will cap. With a minute left, you know, even if they don't finish this map, they're going to get a reasonable amount of distance.
Xerneas needs to be very considerate with this beat. It's the only
Has to
tool they
save it
have
for
at the
Dia.
moment. Yeah, it's going to have to, but Krong's close to getting a Rampage of their own. Good answers on the side of the Valiant as well. Sarshin using the rally aggressively. This is Valiant's time. They've lost Easy Han just as that was popped as well. Could be a wasted opportunity for them. They keep the fight going for now. They can't take the payload away from the Chargers. They're about to get onto the home stretch. There's Jimmy with a headshot to Lengser. Not going to bring the beat onto the fight as Jimmy finds Becky as well. Disruptor shot makes him weak. Sarshin's head cleanly removed from the shoulders. Krong has that Rampage. If the Valiant filter out quickly, they will run straight into that spinning Axe of Doom. Someone needs to touch though. They send in one. Lengser going to be able to use the beat. Dia has gone over to the Doomfist just to get in there and touch. Maybe have some pick potential. Rampage only finds the backline, but it's enough as they lose Sarshin. Lengser's about to follow. They've got no supports on the Valiant. They've only been able to answer back with one kill onto Farway. It's Xerneas finding two. Choi cleans it up, and in OT, the Charge are going to get the completion. They had fractions of time to work within that final section, but a couple of clean fights get them over the line.
What heroics coming through from Jimmy. I mean, that was some serious play coming through to triple kill on the overclock, and unfortunately Easy Han can't respond with his own overclock a little bit later on. See it from Jimmy's POV again. This first shot, boom.
Boom.
Actually doesn't even connect. It requires two shots, but it doesn't matter. He gets the kill. That last one to Becky was tight. Then onto Sarshin as well towards the end, and with double supports down, extra kill to Becky, it's more than enough, and that's extremely high value on what is just a blank overclock use. I mean, there's nothing else to... It wasn't in the middle of a fight that already existed where, you know, the attention is elsewhere. He's just going straight skeet shooting where, you know, he's just got to pop it clean and see what happens. And what happens is a lot of frags that go for Guangzhou Charge at exactly the right time where they're on the precipice of finishing that map, and Valiant put down into a very tricky situation. So off the heroics of Jimmy Sojin, they're going to get the full cap through, and if you're wondering why a Predator hasn't debuted in the Overwatch League yet, this is why. Jimmy Sojin is just better.
He's just molding on the sidelines right now. He's like, I'm never going to get to play in this meta. Goddamn Jimmy. Charge are suffering from success at the moment.
Maybe if it was a different sort of meta for the DPSs, but Jimmy turned out over the course of their Contenders career run to be the better player for the specific hero. So this is where we're at. And now Charge put themselves in a very good position to try and take away this map and get towards match point. So on their journey to take away at least a 6th place finish on the standings. They really need this game. Becky lucky to get out alive, but he will be alive.
So I know sneaky rotations coming in from the Valiant like Charge did on their offense. So they're just going to keep control of this high ground, throw shurikens up from above. Maybe find an angle for a charge through, cuts down. Easy Han not converting the kill. Under pressure themselves a little bit. Good disruptor shot there. Stops even more progress coming forward from them.
Look at the flank.
They don't want to be...
Charge all over them. They've actually trapped them inside the small house here, so very low HP members of the Valiant trying to heal up. A little bit of pressure now eased off as Guangzhou Charge regroup themselves. They don't want to be too split. The Valiant will breathe a sigh of relief to get the HP pulled back into play. 1 minute, not a single kill happening just so far yet as Valiant staying alive.
Jimmy's got a railgun. What will they do? Becky going to be taken out by the disruptor shot instead. It's far away, cleaning up Easy Han as well. Charge are not going to let Valiant break through this first line as easy as they did on their offense. And it's going to be 1 minute 15 burn so far. Still a lot in the tank for the Valiant to break this.
This is looking tough now for Valiant. I mean, Choisiano's got Blade as well, so first ultimate's coming through. Favoring the Guangzhou Charge. Supports will be fairly close. Lengser maybe a little bit further behind. It's the fact that they haven't made it past this opening sort of rooftop phase that is a little bit difficult because they just have to continually contend with Choice of One being annoying on the high ground. They will now make the play around the side of the coast, and the Blade is there.
Corridor. There's nowhere for them to run as well. They're in such a tight corridor. It makes it incredibly difficult to even contest this one. On the hunt for Becky, went off to the side, far away, up close and personal, but it's Krong to cut through Dia. Half the time bank spent, and they're not even past that first corner.
They just need one kill here. If they even just got one kill, the respawns would actually favor the Valiant. But because they got zip out of that, Charge get to reset on the high ground. See all 5 back alive. Krong's on the end high ground now as well. We can see the entire opening field. The choice of one is, honestly, he's the guy doing most of the work here on the roof, being so difficult to dislodge, and you're not really seeing an opportunity from the Valiant to try and get him off. They'll finally have their own ultimates, but as the Valiant come into their ultimates, Charge have more. They still have plenty available.
On the line for now. There's the play from Becky. On the hunt for Jimmy. Will take out the main threat on the side of the Charge right now. It's Easy Harm follow up with Krong as well. Good that these kills are coming in for the Valiant now. They'll break through and enter into the market phase, but there's more than enough time for Charge to get another coordinated fight, and they're going to be running back with some ultimates of their own. Only thing they're missing though, rally. Yes, they lost that very early.
One extra rally advantage, and I think it's worthwhile that Charge would go for the rally play, just see if we can survive against a player via that. There's going to be a 4 versus 3 ultimate exchange here. Rampage will be pretty damn big. Jimmy's already on low HP. Where's Krong and Dia?
There you go, cuts through, finds Jimmy and far away. Good thing Xerneas' beat is there. Beck and Sarshin get hit with one of their own from the other side. Sarshin will look to reposition. Easy Harm's relatively safe for now, but Jimmy takes him out with the overclock. And Lenx is going to find Xerneas as well. Valiant taking control of the fight so far. Sarshin's going to get dropped down by Jimmy, who's still alive and relatively uncontested for the time being, but Lenza finds Krong. Choice of one's going to cut through the fight. Gets onto the back. Jimmy finally being focused by Becky. Will try to slide away. And it's for Lenza to clean up. Valiant get a time extension that they sorely needed.
Yeah, if that fight goes a little bit longer, maybe Choi gets the second blade there, but it will end. 240 remaining. Valiant finally get the cap. They have to finish the map, by the way. And they're going to have to do it in pretty spectacular ways, as it's probably going to be pretty costly for them to get through B. And when they do get through B, the biggest question will be how much time do they have to work on C. 130, I think, was just enough for the Guangzhou Charge to be able to get that win. Again, Jimmy's heroics, and Valiant will have to do much of the same. Charge wasting no time there. Here we go.
Good shout there. Choi finding Easy Harm. Deflecting a lot of damage. Can't exit that room. Will just settle for 1 kill. As he will retreat back to the high ground. Easy Harm's now back on the map, but we'll need to get to the fight. They're not
can't really allow Valiant to. You can't allow Valiant to really respawn here. So you have a 5v4. Should really be able to work that, because now we've had Valiant with time to reset. Oh, tries to kill Xerneas there as well. That would have been deadly.
Close to getting Xerneas. Becky goes to the high ground, has Blade in their pocket, ready to go. No ults available. Gonna go straight for the front line. Far away gets taken out on the hunt for Jimmy. Unable to get the completion of the kill, but that's 2 going over. Make it a 3rd for the Valiant. Jimmy hunters back on the Becky. He's like, no, you. Go away. Get back to the spawn room.
So now, as Xerneas respawns and Becky has to come back from his spawn, so Lucio respawning versus Genji respawning, there'll be a slight window here where Charge have 5. Now, it's not necessarily them using the 5v4 to actually push on forward, but they can get space, they can collect ground, and Valiant, they can't claim any map control themselves. So that fadeaway kill from Jimmy actually does count for something.
Jimmy coming in clutch even in these lost fights. Just playing around the central building for now. They're going to try and contest that high ground, maybe from afar. Still on the low for the moment. I think they just want to beeline to that payload. There's 1 minute remaining now, and ults are about to come online. Looking towards Xerneas' beat is a good answer. May want to hold on to that for what comes next. But Dia, so close to getting it.
I think Choi got knifed, but I don't think he got pulled in. I'm not too sure what happened there, but in this case, he'll be alive. Deflect saved him as well.
Aggressive rally. They're going in with the rally. Trading away with far away, so they kind of cancel each other out for the time being. On the payload, Jimmy again! Finds Becky! The Charge are just going to take this fight straight to the Valiant. Not having to force anything out. Dia gonna use the Rampage if this gets too hectic. He's going to disrupt the field. Jimmy gets a beat. Dia cuts through, finding 3 in the middle, but Xerneas has a beat to be able to save them all. Will still lose their life because Easy Hands decided to snipe their own. Sarshin gets dropped off the field. Dia running incredibly low, can't stay alive. Nice shot with the overclock. Looking into this corridor, there's not a lot of space to maneuver. The tight angles might make it harder for Jimmy to hit the shot, but he still finds Lengzo on the escape. 1 more for Becky after the deflect runs. No, he uses his fist instead. Jimmy taking control of the map, shutting down the Valiant, and they're going to bleed out this overtime as the Charge take a lead in this series.
I mean, there's a way that I want to describe Jimmy, but I can't say it on broadcast. You just have to wait for,
not safe for work.
I don't know, the content later on, but it's It's graphic. It's a graphic way to describe Jimmy's gameplay, but it's just so accurate. It's just so true. He commanded control of that entire map, just completely outperformed everybody on the Valiant side. Easy Hunt looked invisible compared to Jimmy here. He gave the Charge the ability to cap C, and then prevented the Valiant from capping B. He really was the beginning and the end of everything that happened on Dorado. Some also credence given over to Choice 1 as well, obviously on the A-point defense, just being a menace on the rooftops. That was very, very important for Guangzhou Charge to actually defend the opening portions of Dorado and shave that clock down. And Valiant now struggling. They will have to come back from a 1-2 position as Charge take match point.
Match point for the Charge. They could end the scoreline with the inverse of what they suffered the last time they placed up against the Valiant. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, map number 4, it's Push.
Powered and ready to fire. Cybernetic innovation is its finest.
An unexpected surprise for sure, but a welcome one, as the Charge have taken the lead in this series 2-1 after quite a dominant performance on Dorado. We now turn our heads to the future and look towards Colosseo as our next map.
Wow. And now you're going to see Valiant have to force a comeback situation, but this is a dream scenario for the Guangzhou Charge. And now you'll have to cross all your fingers, your toes, generate energy for the Spirit Bomb. I don't know what, because Charge on the precipice of looking for a pretty big bounce back to their season's hopes. They really, really need this win versus the Valiant. And I would say more than most wins in games that they can play here, because Valiant are the closest target for them to overtake. And by winning against a Valiant, you both prevent them from moving further forward, while you get yourself an extra win on board, an extra point to try and overtake them. So yeah, this is a very big step for the Charge to turn around their season's hopes.
And remember, we are only removing one team from those playoff contentions. The 7th place team in the East region are the ones that are not going to progress any further. There's 7 teams right now. Charge are occupying space number 7. They get a win here against Valiant. As Avril said, you're denying their progress, you're gaining some of your own, you're setting yourself perfectly for an overtake. It's going to happen in maybe the next couple of weeks if you keep putting out performances like this. So, as I said, Spirit energy at the ready. Give it over to the Charge. You're a Charge fan, this is your moment. You win here today. You set up your campaign for success. Yes.
You need it right now.
Hands up.
You need it right now.
Into the sky.
And right, I think Jimmy might be Goku right now, so give it to him. Give him the energy.
Yeah, send it all Jimmy's way.
Smiles on, and they are looking much improved from the Shanghai game. I mean, this is again why I said, like, you can't be too upset about them losing to Shanghai. It is Shanghai. It's going to be rough to beat them. Shanghai look amazing this meta. The real test will come through when Charge play other teams not called Shanghai and ideally not called Seoul either, to see if they can get those wins versus those teams instead. And currently it looks like it might be happening. Charge have so far this entire season only had one win. What is their record? 1 and just double checking now. 1 and 12.
12, I think.
So this would make it 2 and 12. This would be the second ever win this entire season. Fun fact: their only win, that one win that they had, was versus the Valiant in week 1.
Unreal that they're getting away with this one. Hopefully we see more of Jimmy doing Jimmy things, using NSFW terms we can't use on broadcast to describe what they're doing. I'm sure we're going to get more of that as we head over to Colosseo. As we said, map number 4. It's on Valiant to try and make this go over to Nepal. Control to close it out. We saw how there's a little bit of a journey happening in Ilios as the Valiant started to warm up. Maybe they can get caught off guard on the back end if it goes the distance.
I think as well, it's not unusual to see another map 5 out of Valiant. I think it's even likely that we go to a map 5. Not that I don't think Charge can clean it up in 4 maps, but I think it's just it's a very Valiant thing to do, to force a map 5 in almost every situation possible imaginable. So the number of map 5s that Valiant have played this season is extreme. If you actually look at their match history, it's so common how often they go to map 5, if not map 4s, but they never have clean 3-0 games, whether it's wins or victories, so wins or losses. So we'll see how things go today. Certainly not a 3-0 day for either of our two teams. Straight up the gates here with no variations in compositions as expected. No ashes. You sometimes might see the odd ash here, but neither player is going to go towards that one, and it will be Guangzhou Charge playing Fountain side as well, so they're actually not going to go through main. At least not opening.
Not yet. They'll probably rotate around there to get to the bot in a second, but just taking the fight off the point for the time being. Playing around the terrain beautifully. Valiant have control of the area. They're going to go around over the top and from the side. They pocket themselves into a tiny location. Krong's gone down low, so they can't really breach into that room just yet, as Krong is on life support right now, but Jimmy opens it up with a kill onto Becky. Have no idea how he found that one, but it makes it so easy for the Charge to follow up and retake the position that Valiant valiantly held for themselves at the start of the map.
That did not look like it should have been a win for the Charge. I mean, you had Krong on 1 HP, not even being healed up. He's hiding away. He literally can't affect the fight. Valiant can just walk on forward. D is in position just to destroy the Guangzhou Charge. But then Jimmy finds the frag, and as soon as Jimmy finds that one kill, the entire fight turns on its head, and Charge, they will collect the further dominoes as they fall. Xerneas even getting the kill feed as the Lucio player, and now we start to get some real distance.
Becky. Maybe he can't stay there for too long, but still hold the position for the time being. The rest of the team drops down to ground level. They over the payload right now to move it through. Becky cuts down Xerneas before Choice A1 answers back. Trading the Genji for the Lucio. Dia up in the face, throws the Jagged Blade, will hold the line for the time being. Jimmy's still on this off angle, relatively uncontested until EasyHan takes a shot and makes him duck and cover for the time being. So field in the fight, Lengza cuts through Krong. There's the blade from Choi to follow up onto EasyHan. They will back away. They have no HP, no sustain. The bot is not making it very far for the Valiant. It is still progressing back to the central points.
Yeah, we'll see if Valiant can move this one further forward. Given that it was a bit of a player trade, the Valiant don't actually have full numbers. And both teams will have 5 before the next fight begins, but as double support ultimates online for the charge, Valiant is still waiting for those to come online for Lengza and Sash. In fact, they don't really have anything to work through. They would love a blade as well, but that blade should be well countered by at least the rally, if not the sound barrier. And this needs to be a Valiant fight win to actually start to get any distance. They're still on 0 meters.
To come back into the fight here, there's a rally from far away, blade from Becky. Gives some reinforcement. Sarshin has the rally pop if they want to. They're still going to use that rally now. They get to keep the beat for Lengza as well in the next fight. Jimmy's about to get the overclock online. We know how lethal they can be once the shots start firing. Contesting point blank range, nearly deflects himself back into it. EasyHan finds Xerneas. Like you said, Jimmy couldn't get into that fight that time. Becky paying them a lot of attention to keep him out, but here's the overclock. Want to see what you can do here. EasyHan again finds Krong. Jimmy just cannot get into this fight, even with the overclock. So we'll be forced away from the bot as it pushes. It's going to start to match the progress.
You can see from his POV, just all of the Valiant members scattered behind the pillars there, behind you know all the terrain that Jimmy can't really see. So the LOS is just not there. He actually hits a knife on a flying member. Respect that. Let's see if EasyHan gets something done. He certainly is. EasyHan's now taking the powers of Jimmy into his own hands, and he's the one getting these frags.
Goes down the field. Shout comes out from Krong just to help the team make sure no one drops there. Dia, I'm looking towards them with the Rampage. They've now been surpassed on the push, heading towards that first checkpoint. Dia has a corridor to play with if they want to. They're going to use the Carnage. There's the Rampage cut through, finds 4 members from Krong. And they got the beat to negate all of that. Dia's attempt is going to come in after this. Lengza still on the recovery as Becky takes out Krong. Yeah, I have no idea how they managed to do that. Probably had to do with the beat that came out. But Choice won, dashing through, far away to turn it around. That should have gone all wrong for the charge.
They do get some kills on the way out, though, so big reset coming on through. Things will just wall right away, and it looked good for the Valiant to begin with, right? Like you called it, the sound barrier to block out Rampage damage from Krong. Krong goes very deep into the back lines of LA Valiant. They do punish him with a 5v4, but as Dia walks on forward to try and get a couple more Guangzhou charge members, he gets punished, and it's the Guangzhou charge, especially off the back of Choice One, that will get the frags to force the Valiant backwards. So despite the flip coming on through, that should have been the fight that Valiant get the checkpoint. They do not claim the checkpoint, and things are very close still.
That's the pushback. There's the rally. Nice Rampage finds 4 on the back line. Krong takes out Lengza after being hit himself. Xerneas gonna stay alive despite going low. Becky unable to contribute to the fight. It's Choi One and EasyHan getting on the board as well. The bot's gonna keep moving back. Choi wants to cut down Dia. There's gonna be Krong taking out Becky as well. Just EasyHan left as they go on the hunt. Very mobile the Sojourn, but can still be found out. A stray shuriken seals the deal.
It's really nice that the robot actually got pushed backwards, though, so a bit of a objective theft coming through from the LA Valiant. That's actually going to give time for the Valiant to reinforce their numbers into another full 5. As you can see, that by the time that Charge actually get the robot in position to move the marker again, this is going to be another big team fight. LA Valiant, fresh out of ultimates, waiting for the rally to come on through. Dia's Rampage was pretty damn big, but just not enough damage there. Like I said, Xerneas living on 1. Speaking of living on 1, Becky lived on 1, but Choice One not so lucky.
Dia again with the second. Lengza just takes out the third here. Nice shot, but it's going to be Becky to clean up Xerneas as well. Valiant get the flip. There's only just about 2 meters in it when you look at the progress. Obviously, we're not counting for the distance. You have to move the bot throughout the entire map, but on the scoreboard, there's only 2 meters in it. So it's still winnable.
It means that whoever gets the checkpoint is going to be majorly ahead, because that is a critical marker on this map, especially. It's the hardest point of the map to push, generally speaking, until you get to the end, which is definitely way harder. But if whoever can get that checkpoint is going to have a pretty damn big lead, especially now with 4 minutes, less than 4 minutes rather, remaining. It can be difficult for both teams to get that checkpoint.
Field cuts off the retreat. Valiant are just going to go ahead anyway. Rally pop by Sarshin. Have the beat for Xerneas if anything goes wrong here. Bot still being the focal point of the fight. They're rotating back and forth. Good bit of damage onto Dia. Can play around the pillars. Beat comes out from Xerneas. Field again, keeping him in the fight. Easy Han sniping from afar with the overclock. Can't find the connection to get a conversion here, but Becky will be there to find Choice A1. And advantage for the Valiant. They need to convert it into more. Lengs is going to do just that as Farway's found. Krong with the cut through onto Dia. They cannot be the last man standing. Valiant claim the payload, and they're in good position to get that checkpoint, Avril.
They should be able to get it now. There's just too many respawns that Charge have to wait for here. I don't think Valiant got out cleanly, though, so they won't be able to fight for too much longer. They need to just kind of get this checkpoint, and then ideally, you know, either just get wiped and back out or something. But not, like they said, the touch is actually there. The payload got stolen away. As Valiant, they're not going to stay there. They actually do back on out. Easy hold, a nice pickup. That's going to give them the 5v4 to regain the checkpoint positioning. They're only like a meter or so off, so... They have a very limited window because Choi's about to respawn, and yeah, he will respawn in time. The Charge are not going to allow them to cap.
They can't, like you said. Really does make it dire for them. Becky with the blade, point blank range, can't find any time to rotate very quickly to find something to slash. Anti-heal by a 5-man rampage coming out from Krong. Puts the rest of the team on his back. Dia has the rampage ready to go, but Becky converts Krong after all said and done. Far way down. This is the time. Valiant should be able to get that checkpoint. They just need to clear off the remaining members before the respawns come in on the hunt for Xerneas. Becky playing cleanup duty once more, and that is that checkpoint being claimed for the Valiant, and it's the beginning of the end for the Charge.
Well, it's actually even better for Valiant because they didn't lose any members. That was another great save versus Krong's Rampage. A 5-man blocked out entirely by Link's sound barrier. The best part is Dia didn't have to burn his own Rampage for it. They just punished Krong. Here we go.
Use it now.
3-man hit onto the back line.
Yes, the shout to sustain them. There's no support ultimates. Usually this would spell disaster, especially because Choi's got the blade. He's being kept out of the fight pretty well on the hunt for Lengza, but cannot keep up with the speedy Lucio.
Dia survives.
Try and have that return there. Yeah, it's unbelievable they get away with that one as well. They're using the rally from Sarshin to just top everyone up and keep this in contestation.
I mean, all of this distance is so insane. They're about to have double the distance of the Guangzhou Charge at the 100-meter mark. And there's about to be 1 minute remaining, so Charge need to win. They need to win this fight right now and start pushing back.
Easy Han can't find a look in. Too much pressure from Choi. Can't pop the overclock. So now the Charge are going to start pressing it back. They did lose Choi, so they've not got full 5 members. They can get some distance here, but they probably have to win a couple of fights to try and match that distance that's been set by the Valiant. Gonna have to do it in OT.
Because Valiant had the close respawns. Look at that, because the payload didn't reach the mid-marker yet, so Valiant got the close spawns, which means there's another fight at this midpoint. So you have to win this fight, and then you hit the 49, you have to win another fight, then there's a checkpoint of the actual payload with the stall, so that's 3 fights.
Order.
So I think 3 to 4 fights is what Charge you to win currently.
Becky just generating that ultimate. Ahead of Choi for the time being. In a 2v1, just holding his own, getting some reinforcements from Dia. Oh, they could have converted that on Xerneas. They're going to do it! Dia with the jagged blade! Opens it up! It's going to mean Valiant will close it down. Easy Han. Going to be traded 4 versus 4 right now. Trying to get on it. Becky pulls out the blade! Charge! This disaster! The rally from far away cannot save them. You called it. Valiant, they're map 5 warriors right now. Dia going to cut through. Xerneas finds Lengza. They're all anti by the rampage, but they're not fighting on the robot. The Valiant forces to map number 5. We're going to close it all out on the pile.
Yeah, I mean, just the frags coming on through, the snipe coming on to kill Xerneas, who had the sound barrier as well. That's such a critical kill. I mean, if you could see the UI and you could see who had ultimates and you had the perfect shot to delete the one guy whose ultimate was required to win the next couple of fights for the Charge, Xerneas is priority number 1 there. So Valiant getting that killed and converting further to 5v4, getting super aggressive and just cleaning up further members and pushing them off the payload importantly when there's no time left. Yeah, that's Valiant setting themselves up for success. I think at the 100-meter mark, we'll say it's about 100. I think they got 95 to 49.
Yeah.
It's double the distance basically required from the Charge to catch up, and they don't have the checkpoint, so there's going to be a checkpoint stall. There's just far too many fights that the Charge have to win there, and it's insurmountable. Valiant gave themselves a very nice lead, so deserved map win on Colosseo to bring us to 5. It wouldn't be a Valiant game without going to map 5.
Force this out for the distance. As you said, it's just trademark of the Valiant at this point. Map number 5 is going to be here on your screens after this break. Map number 5, the Valiant going up against the Charge, who have forced them to go the distance. We're going to be using Nepal to close things out, and this is par for the course for the Valiant, who are able to win some fantastic fights towards the end there and really mute a quite loud Jimmy the rest of this series. He wasn't really able to get into the game, find those ridiculous headshots that he was finding earlier in the series.
Valiant just positioned so well. I mean, we saw a large number of those overclocks from Jimmy's POV, right? But every single time the overclock was popped, Valiant just, they were hiding behind geometry. They had the terrain blocking. Line of sight play from Valiant was just critical in terms of not allowing Jimmy to get the shots required. So that to me was just a big difference maker. Valiant just understanding how to play against Jimmy and not just being in the open when overclock is available and popped up. On the other hand, the Easyhan found amazing opportunities to get his own value on the overclock. So it's a return to form from Easyhan, and shutting down Jimmy a little bit often is definitely the path to victory for the LA Valiant. We've seen in past games with the Hangzhou Spark where Shy is a monster on the Sojin, but if you can shut him down the way that players like Stalker and Who Are You from Seoul and Shanghai respectively have been doing, killing Shy a lot and just making sure you can't get value, that's a pathway to victory. And against the Guangzhou Charge today, where Jimmy is having a bit of a pop-up performance, you need to put a lid on him.
I don't like this map for map geometry reasons for Jimmy. I feel like they might run into the same problem they had on Colosseo with being able to play around terrain, on Shrine in particular. But I think Nepal, maybe Village suffers from the same fate, but I think that's a little bit more open than Shrine, considering where the fights take place. But yeah, hopefully
at the same time, though,
the same problem.
Range is a thing as well, because you can play on these maps a little bit more of a medium to close range. So, I mean, in those situations, to get around geometry, Jimmy can just slide forward and just hunt people down. Whereas I think on Colosseo, you want to abuse high ground a bit more, and when you do that, there's plenty full space because you're playing kind of long range sniping at that stage. And that's how Valiant played around Jimmy. But a fresh opportunity now for both teams to get this one through. Becky taking a lot of damage.
Okay, Becky. Definitely not the start you want if you're the Valiant. That gives up so much space over to the charge. Probably going to result in the first cap, but it was a very quick death. So there might be time to stall it out in OT before it actually goes through to completion.
So we'll look at this one. I don't think that Valiant want to go
No,
too
they're
far
not gonna
forward
touch.
out of position, and that's the thing. I think in a different meta, with a dive, a tank might just flow on in, the Winston can drop a bubble, you're okay, but here, you just have to run up, and that's really dangerous, so you do give the point away off the back of one death, but you don't lose more than that so far.
It's a shout being used. Charge, trying to kill control of this point. Good Dragon Knife there. Becky at long distance can't find that final tap to confirm the kill. The Valiant are going to reset, but not lose any of their positioning they built for themselves. Good dynamite there into the middle of the field. Jimmy finds Sashin! Jimmy's woken
Sashin
back
just
up.
dived
No
on
terrain
forward.
to hide behind.
I don't know
And
if you
there's
saw that, but
Choice One picking up that
Sasha,
second
he
kill.
was ahead of everyone. He was ahead of Dia. He just ran on in, shield bashing on in ahead of the rest of the team. Gets instantly blown up, and the LA Valiant right afterwards, the rest of the squad can't back on up because they're committed. They're going to get blown up here as well, so they lost to neutral with Becky going down to Jimmy. Or I can't remember, he went down to somebody, and
It was Sashin going down to Easy. Sashin going down to Jimmy.
Righto and Charge, then able to get the first neutral win in the first cap. And then on the following fights here as well, they continue winning. This time it's a big team wipe, and Jimmy continues to find these first bloods getting links now.
Disruptor, Becky has to travel through damage to escape, and they're not able to do so. Krong pre-firing the Carnage. I think he got the connection down the Jagged Knife as well, just as he fades away.
And by the way,
72% for the charge.
and no ultimates. The first ultimate's only just coming online now, with Zerningus looking towards that sound barrier, and I think it was 77% to the map, which means if you are Valiant looking for a comeback, it might not happen until the 99th%, and even if you do, you don't have the ults. 3 of them pop now by the charge.
Becky using the observation, hacking to dodge all of that, but they can't dodge the blade. His choice one takes out the back line of the Valiant. 92%. I think they just won the round. Bob's not even on the point. Bob can't even contest it. They had to throw him out into the fight. 99%. OT triggered. Dia. Drop. That's your tank gone. That's it. Charge. Dominate the first round of Nepal. And only stall tactics remain for the Valiant. We saw this though in map number 1. We watched the evolution.
I do want to say here as well, as you know, don't get baited by any of this, definitely over. I do want to say as well, you know, we looked at Ilios, same thing happening. First round, 100-0 sweep on Ruins. Valiant looked lost, completely missing from that. In fact, here's another really distinct comparison to Ilios, especially on Ruins. Back then, Valiant only got a single frag, and it was from EasyHan. Guess what? History repeats itself. Valiant, over the course of the entire round, only one frag from EasyHan. That's it. No one else. Domination from the charge. But that's this way snowball. This is the kind of silly thing about this meta, given that these control rounds are pretty short. Like if you 0 to 100, that's I think barely more than 100 seconds. It's about 2-ish minutes, I think. Maybe 2 to 2.5 minutes to finish entire round 0 to 100, right? And in that time, a lot of ultimates don't get generated. You know, we saw it took until 77% for Xerneas on the Guangzhou charge to even get their first ultimate. So here we go, onto Village now. Choice 1 comes onto a Pharah. I would actually suggest that Becky probably goes back and goes to the Echo here, but they have to maybe finish the fight first.
Yeah, just raining down these barrages from above. Going to rotate over to the point. It's going to unlock in 8 seconds. Trying to get positional advantage. Also some cover maybe from these rockets. Going to use that blast to get repositioned. Becky's been found out. Now would be a good chance to kind of change over as Choice 1 finds the second kill. See what Becky does when they respawn, but Charge have the advantage to begin with. If it's par for the course, it's going to be 99 to 100 on this one. But Becky's staying on the Genji for the time being. They're committing to it.
I think Valiant should not have used Dia's shout there because that was a stag. I think once they've lost 2 members, you gotta just admit it's over and lose the fight. He's not actually went over towards Widowmaker. So here's the actual funny thing about swapping the Widowmaker there, because of the new DPS passive. You can go towards Widowmaker for a shot, go back to the Sojourn or another hero, and still retain some ult charge. But the big one here is that Becky is not going Echo. He's got a pretty damn good Echo that he's rolled from Kickoff Flash, so it's an interesting choice not to do that.
Troy, still up in the sky, relatively uncontested. Krong going down low. Someone needs to save him. Sashin will drop before that happens, though. Now they've lost both supports for the Valiant.
This is... The Valor are about to get snowballed again. Back-to-back, made impossible 0 to 100 snowballs, because it's another fight where it's a full 5-0 wipe. Meaning now 2 fights in a row, 10 total kills from the Charge team, 0 deaths. Valiant still have only got the one frag, which is EasyHan's kill the Xerneas from Shrine, and they are being very stubborn about their way of approaching this map, where their team doesn't have good ways to deal with this Pharah. EasyHan's now onto his third hero, by the way. He keeps resetting his ult charge back to 30% by swapping. And the one guy that can easily deal with the Pharah would normally be...
Oh, okay. This is it.
They still lose the
They're going
fight.
into final fight territory now. Yeah, no.
Yeah, it would usually be Becky going into the Echo. I mean, that's what on most of the games I've seen, and this is even in contenders where Pharah was broken, the easy way to beat the Pharah is to go the Echo, and like 90% of the time, the Echo just wins. So here, they're trying to do it via the Ashe, which I think is so much more difficult. And even Choi is like, I used the barrage, I'm going to come back on the Genji now. Probably faster reset that way, and they're at risk of being 100-0, Valiant is.
Yeah, Becky needs to win this fight. He's got the blade. Rally's not available for far away. They used it preemptively at the beginning of this fight. Blade from behind, cuts through. Here he goes. Beat comes out immediately from Xerneas, and they've lost 3. That's it! The Charge have absolutely dominated Valiant on the last map, and they're going to secure the Series 3-2 and start their campaign to dodge the elimination from playoffs.
Yep, and, you know, against, I think, in this sort of situation where I would consider Guangzhou Charge as heavy underdogs, Valiant looking phenomenal in this meta so far, at least versus the Fusion, but in classic Valiant fashion, they get a map 5 where they don't beat the Fusion. They look favored to beat the Charge, who did not look good earlier on in the week. We go to another map 5, it looks competitive. Colosseum was genuinely good from the LA Valiant, but they cannot win these map 5s, because here's the part 2 that I sort of didn't tell you about, Trid, is like, yes, okay, we have LA Valiant going to a lot of map 5s, but the other curse to LA Valiant is they tend to lose most of those map 5s as well. They have a lot of problems with actually clutching out and finishing a series on map 5. I don't know what it is. It's uncanny from the LA Valiant. And here, I just, I think they got heavily snowballed on 2 rounds out of 2 different maps of control, because you had Ilios as well, where Ruins, they got 0 to 100 snowballed. Here, they got a 0 to 100 snowball from onto Shrine as well. And then I respect that Choi Zihon would even pull out the fire just to try and cheese Valiant a little bit, just to throw them off, and it does. It threw them off so hard that EasyHan played like 3 different heroes and never even got an ultimate, and Becky just refused to go towards the Echo. And beyond all of that, the one player that I think gave Charge the biggest boon to work through has to be Jimmy. And Trid, I think you'll agree with me, but he is the deserving player of the match today from the Guangzhou Charge.
Yeah, I don't think it could have been anyone else in this series. Jimmy was just such an impact player throughout the entire series. Just finding these spontaneous headshots in neutral fights, basically stopping them before they start, just consistently having the accuracy he needs on the Sojo and railgun shots. Bang!
Damn, that's
Becky
huge.
doing a backflip, just styling on people right now. And right here at the end of Dorado as well, we called it out using the overclock. Just 3 consecutive kills. It's enough to basically take Charge over the line.
Yeah, I mean, the maps that Charge won here, some of which were very impressive. And you consider that Dorado, they were able to finish the map with some beautiful stuff coming through from Jimmy, and also defending Choice F1 on the opening A roofs was just so clean. Gave Valiant a lot of problems. Nepal, I mean, we just watched that. The whole map just kind of speaks for itself, right? It was, what, 200-0?
Yep.
And then you look across Midtown, and Midtown was a completed hold on B into, you know, a pretty successful attack, all things considered. You know, we had some slowdown on A, but once they deflected the retake from Valiant, it was all over from there. So when Charge snowball and they start